Hey, this is Fate212 and I'm Nafka, and I kind of wanted to elaborate a little bit on some of the tactics that I was using for my Dark Eldar. Now, a lot of this is going to seem pretty, to the veterans, pretty simplistic. It's going to be a little ad hoc. My tables are not set up again since Valhalla when everything was taken down. So I'm going to go over this kind of briefly and maybe help some Dark Eldar players that are really struggling with with our cardboard armored, our paper armored raiders and whatnot. Um, to start off, I'm using a raider list, and by raider list I mean I'm using about 6 raiders and 3 or 4 ravagers depending on the point cost. Uh, I have a couple more, but that's just what I'm currently using. Even my 1750 point list was fielding 6 raiders and 3 ravagers. So that kind of gives you an idea of what we're starting with and what I'm talking about. Now, what's nice about the raider? Now these are my custom raiders. What's nice about them is the length of the model and the speed that they can go. I generally, unless I have them in the backfield, there's nobody in them. Or if there is, I'll put a couple in. I'll have like 5-man crews in like maybe 2 or 3 of them at the most. And that's because I'm using them as a different type of tool. I'm using them for board control. Yes, they come with a Dark Lance. I'm putting no upgrades on them. I know there's a lot of people that believe that you need to give them the 5+ invul save. I'm not one of them. So I believe you get 50% of your games start off at night fight, and if you take the strategic warlord trait, well, you get a little boost there as well, about an 11% boost. I'm not sure my math is actually right on that one, but it gives you a little bit of a boost on that. So here's the deal here's the issue. Dark Eldar are very vulnerable. It's a very vulnerable army. A single Dark Lance by itself is not that strong. Okay, and people are going to start saying, well, how come you're not shooting your Dark Lances? Well, I shoot some of them. But I'm very particular, and I prioritize board control over a single Dark Lance shot. And of course, that will vary between list to list. Just very briefly, why Raiders? Why? A lot of people are fielding Trueborn with blasters and things like that, and to take care of tanks. Well, these can move far enough. They're very flexible as far as how they move. The Ravagers are awesome. And I truly, truly believe that your splinter cannons need to be on your troops, not on your vehicles. I do field a couple Venoms. I field 2 in general. But I believe that your anti-tank needs to be on vehicles. You can still have some anti-tank on troops, but remember, you get pain tokens. Okay, if you wipe out an infantry squad with a vehicle, you've just wasted a feel no pain roll for your Dark Eldar, and you need every advantage you can get with Dark Eldar. So specifically, let's get back to how I'm using these raiders. So let's take a look at them, and I've got looking here, I've got a couple guys set up here. This is like a deployment zone issue. Land raiders, oftentimes you'll see things like assault troops in them, like assault terminators with 3+ invul saves in close combat. They're in Terminator armor, so they get 2+, 3+. Or you'll see an orc mob of some sort across the field. All right, so there are lots of different deployment types that you're going to face. This is just how to gain board control. And as an example, I faced an extremely good player. I'm not going to go into his credentials, but he's an extremely good player over at Valhalla. His list was very good. It was an orc player. Orcs can be very competitive when played well, and he had a good list. But his army never made it past. Okay, he had like maybe 1 unit or 2, but really never made it past the middle of the board. And he had a fast, strong list. Why didn't they make it across the board? Is because I played board control. And I played board control with these guys. Alright? And it's a good way to pin in land raiders, mass troops, and just control the flow of the enemy. I play mostly a shooty Dark Eldar list, but I do have assault elements in there. In order for me to control the board with my Dark Eldar, my assault troops, and get them where I want them to be, not where my opponent wants them to be, I try and control the board flow. So what I do is, a raider can move 12 inches during its movement phase. All right. So from your deployment zone, you are moving the thing 12 inches up. All right. And I'm fielding at least 9 of these vehicles. All right. So I've got 6 raiders, and so we're going to talk about the raiders first. Okay. Oftentimes you are going first, or you are coming out of a night fight. So on the percentage wise, you are you are getting the jump on the enemy. You should be. If not, either the start of the game is going way bad, or sometimes things just don't work out. But you're still going to play board control because, like I said, board control is much stronger than a single Dark Lance. So you're flying these things 12 during your movement phase. During your shooting phase, you are shooting. It is important to do your timing right because we're going to make these things go flat out. And we're going to make them go flat out because right now, after they've moved, they get a 5+ cover save, a jinx save. Well, when they go flat out, they go up to 24 more inches. So I'm going to fly my raiders. I'm going to park it an inch away from that land raider. All right. I'm going to fly my other one an inch away from that land raider. And then I'm going to take this other one and I'm going to fly it in front of these troops. We're going to pretend that those are like some sort of assault troops that need something to really advance. Or they're such heavy shooting that I need to try and give my troops on the other side, or that are way back on the table, a cover save, just to keep them alive. So by doing this, yes, I have created a wall. All right. Now they're getting a 4+ jinx save. Now you can see now that how far are these guys going to be able to move? Well, hey, look, maybe a little bit to the side, because you are playing with terrain, so you're going to really try and pin them in the best that you can using the terrain that's on the field. A vehicle trying to get through is not going to get much of a tank shock. So you are really doing well as far as stopping the vehicles from getting anywhere. More than likely, these guys are going to try and shoot the crap out of your vehicles. And it's amazing how many times that they actually survive the shooting. Especially when you've got 6 more that you can actually fly up the next round. And when you start layering things, hey, deployment zone, and then the next round you're stopping them again, you really are controlling the field as your troops advance up the field to really work on the battlefield. Now, I've done this over and over many, many times, and the first time somebody sees it, they're oftentimes in culture shock. But I've been doing this for years with my raiders, even my chimeras, pinning in vehicles. You can use vehicles to really control the battlefield, and a lot of people do not. And a lot of times that just simply means victory. I've got a lot of splinter cannons on my side of the field. So when I'm facing somebody, they're trying to get through my vehicles with their troops and stuff. Meanwhile, before I move my 24-inch flat out, before I do this, my Ravagers are getting into position and shooting the tanks. So I'm using kind of a combo fire, and I'm blocking with as minimal as I need. So I do have a couple extra raiders possibly to also fire as well. But if you don't blow something up, hey, you don't blow something up. And that's fine. The other thing is that, which is fun, and I have used this before, is raiders explode spectacularly. Now, what I mean by that is, I have lost an entire flank before to demons when the new, just because the new demons came out. And there's a lot of people playing them, and they're a good army. But I had lost an entire Dark Eldar flank to demonettes and to just masked demons. So what I had done is I had created a raider wall and interspersed my raiders into their horde. More specifically, I had made movement for them extremely difficult, so they couldn't really advance without going all the way around me and then over towards where most of my army was. So there was nothing they could do. So what they did instead is that they assaulted my vehicles, and of course they exploded spectacularly. And of course, um, a lot of demons died. So I basically stopped the entire. I didn't even have to shoot. I used my vehicles to explode and as a means to stop the demon advance. And even if they had wrecked it, hey, now they've got to go through difficult, dangerous terrain and to get to the other side, and that slows down the advance. So anyway, I've talked for a long time for a quick tactic, a Dark Eldar tactics list on how to use raiders. So that's it. This is Fate 212. I'm Nafka, and I'll be talking to you a little bit later today. I've got some rumors coming, so